Good morning, Alberta, and afternoon, Eastern Canada, I guess. I want to talk about me pulling out of that academic conference that they held, and it's an annual, and it was supposed to be NYU, but it turns out it's Boston University, and the lecturer was out of NYU, and all about a lot of feminism, a lot of left ideology. I made 10 minutes of it. Comments turned off. It's one of those, you're going to sit and listen, and of course, I don't see how you could ever talk about feminism and not allow it to be an open forum. You know what I mean? Any subject, but I notice the left loves to do that. That's one thing about the left. They love to just, you listen, you don't comment, you don't interact, we don't want to see or hear from you. You sit there, we're going to present you all of these things that we're going to do with absolutely no input or say. I never liked that. I know even when I built my party, the hardest thing we had, and we lost people. It kept us smaller because I was adamant that every policy and development for the party went through everybody. And at some points we had 170 people on one policy, upwards of 3 weeks. Fighting, yes, there's divisive areas. Some policies we couldn't even ratify, couldn't even be done. People were so split about it. So we didn't have a whole lot in the provincial election. However, you know what was great about it? Every policy that came through, they were so blended, different, left, right. It showed the true diversity of actual citizens and what they think, instead of let's pick a focus group to absolutely dictate to everybody how it is. And that's Canada. That's the autocracy of Canada. But we're going to move on to what this video is about, and it's very important because this gets talked about a lot, especially in academic circles. And this is some of the best, and it always comes back. It always comes back. And what I mean by that is your civil, human, and charter rights, like for a country like Canada, or Bill of Rights for other countries, or you've got all kinds of names of them, but there's enshrined rights, there's the civil rights side. Different countries run on different regimes of government, and I'm going to get into this now pretty serious. So Russia, one-party system, but how about the rights to the people? How effective is that? And then when you start to break down different countries, some are supposed to be tremendously democratic, at least they brag that way, but then the people of those nations seem to think otherwise, the actual citizens, and you see the uproar, and then it's anger, and then they elect a new politician who takes a whole bunch of other rights away, and watch this wave. And I mean, they're trying to do it in the United States, but I argue, everybody, and this is just how I've seen of the nations who codify constitutions, when you have rules in your codification of your constitution, rules of how to govern, meaning the more rules you put on the politicians, those you elect, if you elect, or maybe you don't elect, but the more rules of what the politician can do and can't do, the more likely you're going to see that no matter what rights you have written and are supposed to be enshrined, the more rules on the politician, the more the politician's bound to, and the more checks and balances you codify, meaning written rules of governance in a constitution, you will see the rights honored for the people. Whether they have them all or not, the ones that they will have in that kind of codification will be cemented. It will be very hard for the politician to break them. And that's if they put in proper codification of how to govern. If you don't have any, like there's a number of countries with zero rules of governance, what does it matter what rights they write that you're supposed to have if politicians don't have to be accountable to anything or even follow it? If there's no rules governing them, how are your rights ever going to be truly enshrined? No matter you write them all out and they're great, And academics fight about this all the time. But that's what I argue. You know, you talk about division of powers, different governments. There's no concept of regions whatsoever. Like a country like Canada or the USA or Russia, there are regions, you know, but some there are none. So they don't even think about you when they start codifying international law or start voting on it. They just, nope, you don't count, you don't exist, you're nothing. We're only going to deal with the national government. We don't care that the national government only has a small division of powers. We'll find a way to go around that, you know, and it's it all goes back to rules of governance, rules of how you're to be governed. Big C codification, super important. That's today's takeaway, everybody. And when you don't have that with political parties, you can see that coming in the United States too. They try to throw it out here in Canada at us, and I just laugh because it's like, you want to know autocracy, you're standing in the middle of it, you know. And these people, they make me laugh, eh? They think they're gonna take over your country with their ideologies, and it's like, you've come to the wrong place, you know, wrong place. Very autocratic, and you'll be beaten by that autocratic system, you know. It's sad. That's my video today. Realize that, everybody. One takeaway, one share here. Very, very important. Big C codification. Rules of governance. How to be governed. Mean the rules on the politicians. Codified set of rules. Unbreakable. That's what you need. Or it won't matter what rights you codify or enshrine or charters, bills. Like the Age of Empires, kings and queens of old. If you've ever seen or read the real history of Nottingham and the rest of it in the time of that king and what happened, promises everybody, even signed the charter, and then he turned the troops on everybody because he was divine, no rules of governance. He could beat all the barons, everybody down. And now today, you look, it's one nation, one power, and maybe some of these countries need to do an assessment of, are you in any way, shape, or form truly democratic? Are you truly democratic? Because I don't think so. I think that it's a small group, and they have an infinite power over a lot of people. Small C will never protect, no matter how many promises of enshrined rights. And you can look for literally thousands of years, that's been a huge issue. Just in the last 900 years, even Magna Carta, people always try to bring up Magna Carta, the age-old fight of the people versus the state, or the absolute ruler, whatever you want to call it. And it's led to major wars, famines, disease. It's these things carry on if we don't address the fact, rules of governance, how to govern. And that means big C constitutionalism. I believe that. I believe you need a bunch of checks and balances designed by the people, for the people, with obviously credible experts. That's what I want to do, and that's what we're going to get. So no April Fools here. This is a real video. Everybody enjoy your weekend as best you can. I don't know what mine's going to be like here. No announcement of lockdowns yet. I guess we're going to see what's what. I don't know, but I guess get ready, Ontario. Get ready, Alberta, by the sounds of it. Looks like two provinces facing governments likely to make a decision here. We'll see. We'll see who does what, where, when, and why. Okay, guys. Bye now. Enjoy your weekend.